Is there ever a point where a celebrity goes so far that they simply cannot return to the limelight unscathed? That's the question many are asking about Kanye West these days. Once applauded as a musical genius and creative trailblazer, he now seems more inclined to spark outrage with incendiary statements, bizarre product launches, and baffling alliances. From social media meltdowns to jaw-dropping public appearances, Kanye's every move has people questioning whether he's deliberately trying to sabotage his reputation, or if he truly believes his own chaotic narrative. Kanye West wasn't always viewed as a relentless lightning rod for controversy. Early in his career, he garnered widespread acclaim as the producer-turned-rapper who could seamlessly blend soul samples with bold lyrical statements, redefining the sound of hip-hop. Albums like the College Dropout, Late Registration, and Graduation established him not just as a musician, but as a cultural phenomenon. In those days, his biggest headlines were about boundary-pushing music videos or unexpected collaborations. But over time, something shifted. The passionate nature that once fueled his creativity bled into every aspect of his public persona. Outrageous statements and combative interviews became routine. Twitter rants replaced carefully crafted press releases. Fans grew accustomed to constant public feuds, from confrontation with other artists to jabs at entire corporations. Fast forward to recent months, and controversy hardly covers the scope of Kanye's latest storm. It's more like a relentless deluge of shocking behavior. When he's not calling out record executives or politicians, he's stirring the pot on social media, testing the limits of acceptable discourse. And no matter how many times the public denounces him, Kanye charges forward, seemingly unafraid, and possibly even fueled by all the uproar. But that wasn't the whole story. The 2025 Grammy Awards were supposed to be a typical star-studded spectacle, but Kanye managed to steal a chunk of the spotlight without even stepping on stage to perform. Instead, he arrived on the red carpet with Bianca, his new wife, who turned heads with an outfit that left some people wondering if she was dressed by choice or on someone else's orders. Bianca's attire was so minimal that it had social media buzzing about her well-being. Some believed Kanye had orchestrated the moment, using her bold look to fuel public chatter. Others defended Bianca, claiming she's a grown woman capable of making her own decisions. After all, her sister posted snapshots of the event with a proud smile, suggesting the family was behind her every step of the way. Yet, there was an undercurrent of concern. Comments floated around implying that Kanye had a habit of exerting control over his partners through fashion, behavior, and public appearances. Whether that's factual or just fan speculation, the tension in the air was undeniable. And before observers could wrap their heads around the red carpet fiasco, Kanye was already revving up for his next headline-grabbing move. But then he decided to go even bigger. Twitter might be the place where many celebrities connect with fans, share upcoming projects, or crack a few jokes, but for Kanye, it has often been the ground zero for meltdown after meltdown. Over the years, he's had multiple accounts banned or suspended, especially when his comments veered into hate speech or deeply problematic territory. This time was no different, except it felt even more unnerving. He unleashed a torrent of posts that careened from unhinged conspiracy theories to open endorsement of harmful rhetoric. In one breath, he targeted entire communities with wildly false accusations. In another, he championed issues that baffled even his most loyal followers. The reaction online was immediate. Fans and critics alike filled the comments with calls to have him removed from the platform again. What shocked people the most was Kanye's total disregard for the hurt he was causing. This wasn't the first time he'd tiptoed across the line of bigotry, but it was the first time he seemed to be sprinting past it. Even individuals who had previously defended his actions began backing away. It's too much, they said. There's no justification for this. As the digital flames grew higher, Kanye fanned them with more controversial tweets, doubling down instead of apologizing. For someone who's been canceled and recanceled so many times, he seemed determined to push the boundaries further. Little did everyone know that his Twitter storm was just the tip of the iceberg. But then he threw another curveball, this time involving Diddy. Imagine checking Twitter, seeing Kanye praising Diddy, once a towering figure in hip-hop, now mired in serious legal battles. Multiple accusations had surfaced against Diddy, some so severe that he eventually landed behind bars, facing ongoing lawsuits and criminal charges. Most people in the industry distanced themselves from him, if not publicly, then quietly behind the scenes. Not Kanye. Kanye not only tweeted "Free Puff," but also suggested they had been collaborating on a secret project. This included a clothing line he planned to sell under his Yeezy label. Considering the swirl of allegations around Diddy, many were appalled that Kanye would choose this exact moment to shine a spotlight on their partnership. Then again, Kanye has a history of aligning himself with divisive figures. He's openly championed controversial politicians, controversial celebrities, and now, an artist facing allegations of disturbing behavior. Critics accused Kanye of picking alliances guaranteed to provoke maximum outrage. Supporters tried to rationalize his actions, arguing that he's always marched to the beat of his own drum, even if that drum leads him off a cliff. Yet it wasn't just the collaboration that horrified people. It was what happened next, Kanye referencing chilling footage involving Diddy's ex-partner, Cassie, and using it to hawk merchandise. This was an entirely new level of disturbing. And that's when everything really went off the rails. For years, rumors swirled about Diddy's volatile relationship with Cassie. Then, last year, hotel surveillance footage emerged, seemingly confirming one of the most disturbing incidents described in Cassie's lawsuit. In the video, Cassie attempts to flee a hotel room in the dead of night, only for Diddy to bolt down the hallway, intercepting her. It was a moment that left viewers stunned, reinforcing the serious allegations Cassie had made about emotional and physical mistreatment. While many in the industry expressed sympathy for Cassie, Kanye took the opposite route. Instead of condemning the violence, he posted an eyebrow-raising tweet claiming that true love can sometimes look like rage. He then posted images referencing Cassie's outfit from that infamous night, and, in what some called a grotesque display of indifference, he began selling a love hoodie on Yeezy.com, emblazoned with the same style Cassie wore in the video. "This is beyond bizarre," one Twitter user wrote. "It's downright sick." Dozens of commentators echoed that sentiment, lambasting Kanye for mocking a traumatic moment. Others worried it was part of a larger pattern in which Kanye undermines serious issues for the sake of controversy or sales. People demanded an apology or an explanation. None came. Instead, Kanye posted another message about how an intense relationship might justify these extremes, doubling down on the narrative that the footage was some kind of twisted proof of love. Public outrage soared, but Kanye paid it no mind. He was already gearing up for his next act, one that would reach an even bigger audience, the Super Bowl. But the world was in for yet another shock. In the grand arena of American television, the Super Bowl is the biggest stage for commercials. Brands spend millions, sometimes up to $8 million for a 30-second slot, crafting cinematic mini-movies or comedic sketches that people will talk about for days. Leave it to Kanye to deliver something no one could have predicted. The ad that flashed across millions of screens wasn't a polished, high-production piece. Instead, viewers saw Kanye in what appeared to be a dentist's office. He wore dark shades and spoke directly into his iPhone camera, announcing, "I spent all my money on these new teeth, so I'm filming this on an iPhone. Go to Yeezy.com." It was baffling, unconventional, and, in typical Kanye fashion, left everyone reeling. When curious watchers hurried over to Yeezy.com, they saw something that left them genuinely horrified: a single white t-shirt stamped with an anti-Semitic symbol, priced at $20. It was a direct insult, an incendiary statement just waiting to be blasted across social media. Outrage spilled forth instantly. People questioned how such a stunt could have slipped past the NFL's vetting process. Some speculated that Kanye changed the site's inventory at the last second, blindsiding the league. Fans, journalists, and social activists demanded an explanation. Should the NFL have preemptively checked the site's content and locked it in? Should they ban Kanye from future ad buys altogether? The entire fiasco stirred a thunderous debate about free speech, corporate responsibility, and the dark side of celebrity influence. But the fallout didn't stop there. The day after the Super Bowl ad aired, social media erupted. Hashtags condemning Kanye trended worldwide. Influential figures, from pop stars to political commentators, chimed in. Some expressed deep disappointment, recalling how they once admired Kanye's pioneering sound and raw talent. Others flatly stated that he needed immediate professional help, if not from psychological experts, then perhaps from an unwavering crisis management team. Celebrities who had been silent through many of Kanye's prior controversies now found themselves speaking out. They questioned whether streaming platforms and fashion brands should sever remaining ties with him. Many also pointed out the sinister pattern. Kanye repeatedly stirs public outrage, garners massive attention, and then uses it to hawk new projects or merchandise. Boycott campaigns gained traction. A handful of public figures announced that they would no longer wear Yeezy clothing or stream his music. Even some of Kanye's most diehard fans admitted that they'd had enough. "There's a difference between being provocative and being hateful," one tweet declared, and Kanye crossed that line a long time ago. Amid the uproar, a few defenders argued that Kanye was merely exercising free speech. They claimed the star has always tested boundaries to spark important conversations. However, critics countered that employing harmful symbols and language was not a conversation starter, but a blatant act of hate. The moral, legal, and social lines seemed irreversibly blurred. And the crescendo was still building. Shortly after the uproar, Kanye tweeted that he was logging out of Twitter indefinitely, thanking Elon Musk for letting him vent. The account then vanished, leaving behind a storm of hot takes and unanswered questions. Some fans speculated that he would return in a matter of days with a new meltdown or a product drop. Others hoped that this would mark the end of Kanye's corrosive online presence, at least for a while. Meanwhile, legal experts weighed in on potential fallout. Could Kanye face lawsuits for defamation or incitement? Would the NFL or network executives seek legal remedies for the fiasco that occurred under their watch? And what about the apparel featuring that symbol? Many questioned whether it constituted hate speech and, if so, whether it could lead to further action against him or his brand. Corporate sponsors who were once eager to align with the Yeezy name began quietly backing away. Those who had parted ways with Kanye in previous scandals felt their decisions were justified. In the background, the entire saga revived debates about mental health, enabling celebrity behavior, and the ethics of profit-driven chaos. But perhaps the biggest issue lingering in the minds of observers is this: is Kanye West unstoppable in his quest to provoke, or will the reality of legal and financial repercussions finally force him to reconsider his approach? Kanye West's recent whirlwind, spanning Grammy's antics, Twitter rants, alliances with legally embattled celebrities, and jaw-droppingly offensive Super Bowl ads, feels like an unprecedented new low, even for a man who's made controversy his calling card. Whether driven by narcissism, genuine belief in his own messages, or a need for perpetual attention, each inflammatory act erodes the public's willingness to see him simply as an eccentric genius. We're left with tough questions. Is there a limit to how far society will allow a star to push boundaries before we collectively turn our backs? And does all this controversy reflect one individual's unraveling, or is it a mirror held up to our culture's fixation on shock value? One thing is certain: whether Kanye logs back on tomorrow or stays silent for years, the impact of his recent moves will resonate for a long time. Each time he reemerges, the bar for outrage seems to move higher, forcing us to question what lines remain uncrossed. As his latest string of jaw-dropping statements fades from the headlines, the conversation continues. Will he find redemption, or has he burned too many bridges for the world to ever embrace him again? The answer might depend on whether the public decides that, this time, he's finally gone too far.